Hello everybody, it's Abby again, and here I am. I was just reflecting. I wasn't planning on making a video tonight, but I was just kind of reflecting on my weekend and the Chuseok holiday that just finished. If you don't know, Chuseok is like a Korean Thanksgiving. It's kind of different, but it, I guess, has that comparison. Chuseok is just a Korean Thanksgiving, and this year we were all super lucky to have 10 days off of work. So I have not been at my school since the Friday before last Friday, and today's Monday, and it's also a day off because it's Hangul Day, which is the Korean alphabet, I guess the day that they are celebrating its invention and stuff like that. So I go back to school tomorrow. It was a super fun weekend. I went to a sort of military festival with my boyfriend and two of his friends who I've been hanging out with a couple times since getting back to Korea, and it was really fun. I mean, the festival was super fun, but story time, it was getting to the festival that had a super interesting story and a little bit of a creepy story. And you see, my whole time studying abroad, I never had anything like weird happen. Everything was just like normal. I think I've mentioned this in my blog a few times. Like, studying abroad, everything was just like perfect, normal, nothing weird happened. And lately I've been watching all of these, actually throughout my whole time being interested in Korea, I've been watching these STORYTIME videos about YouTubers who are currently in Korea teaching English, studying abroad, just doing whatever the heck they're doing in Korea. And they have story times where they just talk about all these experiences, strange, unique, cool, weird experiences that happened to them in Korea. And I kept thinking, like, am I ever going to have a story that's that interesting to have my own story time? Well, I guess so. So I was on the subway. I just transferred from my line to line 1, and there was like this old Korean man across the car from me. I was sitting on one side just chilling. There was like this girl who was like falling asleep on me. I left at like 7 a.m. and so that girl was understandably tired. I was tired. I probably would have been falling asleep that ride if it wasn't for the fact that when that girl got off, there's this old Korean man who kept on, like, whenever I would do like my people watching, he was always looking at me, and I was like, why? What the heck? And of course that made me look at him more to see, is he still looking at me? And yeah, he always was. And so this girl got off, and I was like, okay, nobody's trying to sleep on me anymore, this is cool. And then the guy gets up from his seat and walks over and sits down next to me, and I was like, okay. And I didn't really think too much of it. Maybe he wanted to sit by the door, closer to the door, because his stop is next. And then he starts talking to me. He's like, hello. And I was like, hello. And I was just like, I just want to sleep because it's really tired. I just want to like listen to my music, text people, because I just got my new phone, iPhone 7, and I can actually use the subway Wi-Fi now that I have a Korean cell phone provider and everything like that. I can use all the public free Wi-Fi around Seoul, which is great, super amazing. So I just wanted to like play on my new phone a little bit, listen to music, and maybe doze off for a little bit because I was going to be on the subway for quite a while. But no, this guy talks to me and he's like, hello, what's your name? And I use my go-to name for the people I don't know and I'm probably never going to see again. So I'm like, I'm Julie, nice to meet you. And he's like, yeah, nice to meet you. I want a friend. And I was like, oh, that's cool, that's nice. And he's like, where are you from? And so I'm like, yeah, I'm from America. And then he just keeps talking to me. Like, I can't really understand a lot of what he's saying because he has like a really thick accent. Like, he's an old man who just started learning English and hasn't really listened to what the language sounds like, and so his accent is still really thick, which is part of the learning process, fine, but it's like I just couldn't understand a lot of what he said, so I was like, oh crap, I'll just, yeah, nod to everything he says. But then it's like, if he says something that doesn't require a nod, then it's like, okay, but then he realized what I was doing, and then he pulled out his phone and went on to Naver Translate, which is kind of like Google Translate, but Naver is a Korean company, and so it's better at translating between Korean and English because it's a Korean company. And so he pulls out his Naver Translate app on his phone and starts typing in like all the things he wants to say to me. And I'm like, oh yeah, like he asks me where I'm from again. I don't think he understood my answer when I said America, so I tried saying America, United States, blah blah blah. And so then he asks me, I want a diva, and I was like, what? You want a diva? Like, I'm not sure if I heard that right, or I'm really not sure what that means. And I was like, what? And then he's like, a diva, and I'm like, diva? It's like English word, and it's like, yeah, it's an English word, but it doesn't really make sense. And then he spells it D-I-V-A. So it's like, okay, so yeah, I heard right. He said diva, but still, what does that mean? And then he's like, Yoshin, Yoshin. I'm like, I know that word. Korean, it means goddess, which has nothing to do with diva. And I'm like, what? What? Why is he saying, like, basically, I want a goddess? Like, what does that mean? And he asks me, are you a diva? And I'm like, no. And then he just like continues talking to me, and I was just like, what is going on? Like, why? And I just wanted to like, I was honestly considering like getting off at one of those stops on the way to my real destination and just being like, oh, I have to go now, goodbye, and just getting off and waiting for the next train. But I was like, maybe I shouldn't do that. And it turns out it was probably a good idea that I didn't do that, because later on, like when I was getting super close to my stop, thank heavens, he started typing into his Naver Translate, Dara gago shippoyo shippo. I don't know exactly how he phrased it, but I just remember looking at his phone screen and being like, that means follow. This guy wants to follow me. And I was like, oh gosh, what am I gonna do? And then, so he did the translation. Of course, I already knew what the translation was, but he showed it to me. And I was like, oh. And he's like, I will follow you. And I was like, no, I'm meeting a friend. And he was like, he just kept repeating, like, I will follow you. And I was just like, no. And like, I could tell he understood no, because he was like kind of taken aback. Like, what do you think I would say? Like, you're just like this random person and you just want to follow me? Like, does that not register as creepy? Like, would you go up to a young Korean girl that you don't know and be like, I want to follow you? Like, no, like, it's not a cultural difference, it's just creepy. You don't just follow people you don't know like that off the subway when they say no. And I was just like, no, I'm meeting a friend. And he I don't think he understood the meeting a friend part, but I didn't really want to explain it in Korean, because then he would know that I speak Korean and he would probably try and talk to me more. And so I was just like, I'm meeting a friend, and just trying to say that over and over again. And then I was like one stop away from my destination, and he asked me, give me your phone number. I just got a brand new phone number, and I really don't want random people messaging me on this new phone number a day after I get it. So, and I said, no, I don't give it to strangers, basically. I don't just give my phone number away, you know? And so, luckily, 이번 역에서 구로역입니다 came on the screen thing. This is Guro Station, my stop. And so I got up by the door and said, nice to meet you, goodbye. And then I left the train, and of course he gets up. He actually follows me off the train. Like, I don't know what, like he actually followed me off the train, and he was like, he stopped me and he was like, phone number. And I was like, no, I don't give my phone number to random people. I'm meeting somebody. And then I just started like walking away really fast, Luckily, he wasn't as fast as me, so he couldn't really catch up to me or anything. I tried to be polite because, like, I didn't know his intentions. I mean, he just wanted to learn English and, like, have a foreigner subway friend who he could talk to, but no, he actually followed me off the train, and at that point, it's like, no. And so I just, like, went up. Luckily, I got up the stairs, my boyfriend was waiting there, so I was like, and then I was like messaging him like my whole subway ride until I met that old guy that I was like starving, hungry, because I didn't really have a big breakfast and I knew it would be a while till we have lunch. And so my boyfriend was like, hey, do you want some of this food? And I was like, no, can we just go now, please? And he was like, why? And I was like, there's this like guy following me, and then so yeah, he was not happy about that. And like, we finally just went to the next platform where we were supposed to be to go to our next stop. And the guy was like I went to the bathroom first, and then by the time we went to that platform, the guy was there, just sitting there, and I was like, that's the guy. He's just sitting on the stairs. He kind of looks sad, and it's like he has to go to that platform because he probably missed his stop to keep talking to me, and so it was like, yeah, let's just kind of walk on the other side of the stairs. And then he didn't bother me anymore once he saw me with my boyfriend, which is good. And so, like, it makes me wonder, like, what if I wasn't actually meeting somebody? Like, what if I was just taking the subway home and, like, I wasn't meeting anybody, I was just going home? Like, what would I do? It's like, in that case, I definitely probably would have got off at some random station and just kind of walked around super fast and sort of lose him before I go back to the platform and go to my actual stations. At first, you know, I thought he was just this old guy who wanted to have some English conversation practice. You know, he has a smartphone. He can look up like language exchanges in Seoul. There are plenty at Seoul, for crying out loud, of language exchanges. He could have done the less creepy route and gone on one of those or something. Thought I'd share that with you. I hope I don't like freak my family out about that story because it really wasn't that bad. And now I officially have the subway sort of police app on my phone where I can just like press a message button and I can message like the subway police, like my destination where I'm getting off at, so they know to like come to me and ask me if I'm okay and stuff like that. And so that would have been really helpful if I would have been in that situation alone without having met somebody. But now I'm prepared for the future, and I will let you know about that app in case you are in Korea and you think you need that subway sort of police app. I will let you know about that. That's my story. Thank you for listening. And I know it's been a while since I've come out with videos. It's been a while since I've posted anything on my blog, and I'm really sorry about that because it's been so busy, and I'm not gonna lie, I've been really lazy. But I'm hoping to get everything updated again soon. As I come up with video ideas, I'll make them. I know I haven't made the other video ideas I said I've made, but especially with the like differences between being an exchange student in Korea versus teaching in Korea, I know I promised that video. But I think it'd be better to wait until I actually have been teaching here longer. And I think from now on I'm not going to promise any videos because I haven't really been keeping those promises, so I'll just make videos when I feel like it or when something comes up, stuff like that. And so yeah, so goodbye, and I will see you next time. Alright everybody, so here's that app I mentioned earlier in the video. It's called Cheoldo Gyeongchal. It means railway police, basically. So you can download this app at the App Store. You might have to type in Korean, and it's not too hard if you know how to type in Korean, and even if you don't, it's easy to learn. But anyway, once you get into the app, you will see 4 different options. There will be 2 options on the top, one to take a picture or a video of whatever's going on, and then you can also call the railway police. You might have to have some sort of Korean plan or SIM card or something to be able to do that, unless you have an international plan, it might be more expensive, but I mean, if you need the service, it's worth it. And then there's also the option to message them if you can't call them. And same sort of thing, standard messaging rates apply. So if you don't have a Korean phone plan, it might be a bit more expensive, but again, worth it. And then at the bottom, if you already took a video or picture of whatever's going on, you can upload that using the bottom 2 squares. And so basically when you call or text them, you will want to give them your information, maybe like your name, your phone number, which car you're on in your subway. It usually says on the subway close to the door, like which train it is, which car you're on, and then give them your final destination. So when you get off the subway, they can meet you there and make sure you're okay, and they can, if you know the car number, they can go to the exact car you're at and meet you right away and make sure you're okay. And that is basically how this app works. Hopefully you never need it, but it's good to have just in case you do.